When Spectre was released in 2015, it didn't just bring James Bond back. It brought the franchise back to its roots. Director Sam Mendes wanted this Bond film to feel grounded, physical, and dangerously real. Instead of relying heavily on CGI, the makers of Spectre chose real locations, real explosions, real vehicles, and some of the most demanding stunts ever attempted in a Bond movie. So let's go behind the scenes and break down how these iconic moments were actually created. Okay, so let's first start. In Spectre, the ice chase sequence which places James Bond deep in the frozen mountains of Austria, where he rescues Dr. Madeleine Swan from the deadly Spectre assassin, Mr. Hinks. Madeleine carries critical information connected to Spectre, making her a high-value target. Eliminating her and Bond becomes the organization's priority. This high-speed chase doesn't just deliver adrenaline, it pushes Bond's mission forward and opens the path toward uncovering Spectre's secrets. What many viewers don't realize is that this iconic ice and snow chase wasn't driven purely by CGI. In reality, the sequence was filmed largely using real locations, real vehicles, and real stunts. The entire chase was shot in Austria's Ötztal Alps, including Solden, Geislachkogel Peak, Rettenbach Glacier Road, and the Ötztaler Gletscherstraße, all extreme high-altitude snow locations. Director Sam Mendes was determined to avoid an artificial look, so the production relied on real snow, real mountains, and real speed to ground the action in reality. Planning for this scene began far in advance because shooting in such conditions came with serious challenges. Extreme cold, thin mountain air, and dangerous terrain made every shot risky. The futuristic glass clinic seen early in the sequence isn't a studio set. It's a real location called the Ice Q restaurant, built on top of a mountain. This is where Bond and Madeleine's escape begins, before Mr. Hinks launches his attack and the chase spills onto icy roads and glacier tracks. One of the most memorable moments in the sequence is when Bond pursues a Land Rover convoy using a small aircraft. This was not a CGI model or a digital trick. It was a real aircraft, specially modified to operate on snow. The plane was fitted with skis underneath and custom control systems, allowing trained pilots to fly it at high speed just above the ground. In several shots, Daniel Craig was actually inside the aircraft, while stunt doubles and remote-controlled camera rigs were used for the most dangerous angles. But for the crash scenes, the film crew used a lightweight, specially constructed shell or prop of the aircraft. It looked like the real plane, but was designed to be easily crashed without causing damage. The weather proved to be the production's biggest enemy. When the crew arrived on location, there wasn't enough natural snow to maintain visual continuity. To solve this, the team created hundreds of tons of artificial snow, carefully blending it with the real environment to preserve realism. Vehicles used in the chase were equipped with specially studded ice tires, and professional stunt drivers navigated narrow, icy mountain roads with extreme precision. At the very beginning of the movie, it drops the audience straight into the middle of Mexico's Day of the Dead festival. The streets are filled with people wearing skull makeup, elaborate costumes, masks, and flowing dresses, creating a visually overwhelming sea of color and movement. Unlike what many people assume, this festival isn't about mourning death. Its true purpose is to honor and celebrate the lives of the dead, remembering them with music, art, and joy rather than sadness. Within this chaotic celebration, James Bond uses the crowd as perfect cover. Hidden in plain sight, he quietly carries out a secret assassination mission without drawing attention. The festival becomes more than just a backdrop. It becomes a tactical advantage, allowing Bond to disappear into the madness while danger unfolds all around him. Behind the scenes, this opening sequence was not filmed on a set or recreated digitally. It was shot entirely on location in Mexico City, primarily in Zocalo, the main city square, Plaza Tulsa, and the surrounding historic streets. Director Sam Mendes wanted the audience to feel like they were physically inside the parade, not just watching it from a distance. To achieve this, the production designed a massive, real, parade-style setup featuring colorful floats, towering skeleton sculptures, live performers, and authentic traditional Mexican music. For this sequence alone, the filmmakers hired more than 1,500 extras. Every person seen on screen wearing skull makeup or a costume was inspired by real Dia de los Muertos traditions, especially the iconic La Catrina imagery. No two extras looked the same. Some had detailed skull face paint, others wore bright skeleton costumes, ornate masks, or elaborate headpieces. This careful variation ensured the crowd felt organic, alive, and visually rich rather than staged or repetitive. The makeup and costume process was a production on its own. Over 100 local Mexican makeup artists and assistants worked on set, starting early each morning. Many extras spent 3 to 4 hours in the makeup chair, as their skull designs required intricate detailing, layered paint, wigs, and perfectly fitted costumes. To maintain cultural authenticity, the production worked closely with local artists and festival experts, making sure the visuals respected real Mexican traditions rather than turning them into a stylized caricature. Shooting the crowd scenes presented another major challenge. Entire streets were temporarily closed, and camera movement had to be carefully choreographed so the camera could glide smoothly through dense crowds without breaking the illusion. During the Mexico sequence, Bond moves from the crowded streets into a hotel, then onto rooftops, and finally into a deadly assassination mission targeting Marco Chiara, a high-ranking Spectre member. On screen, it looks like one continuous shot, but in reality, it was a carefully engineered cinematic illusion. The sequence was filmed using multiple long takes, stitched together with seamless editing and invisible VFX to create the illusion of a single, uninterrupted movement. Technocranes, steadicams, scaffold tracks, and moving camera rigs were all synchronized with Daniel Craig's performance. As Craig walks along rooftops, a massive crane system moves alongside him, perfectly matching his pace. Cuts are hidden in camera movements, door frames, and shadows, making them nearly impossible to spot. For safety, Daniel Craig wore a hidden harness and wire system, ensuring protection in case of slips or missteps. The rooftop collapse and explosion seen later were not filmed in Mexico City, but recreated on controlled studio sets. This sequence blends real locations, practical stunts, studio builds, and invisible VFX, all to achieve one goal: making the audience feel like Bond never stops moving, never breathes, and never breaks focus. The climax of Spectre delivers one of the most explosive moments in the entire Bond franchise. Literally. The massive desert blast seen at the end of the film is widely recognized as the largest real stunt explosion ever performed for a Bond movie, and at the time of release, it was one of the biggest ever captured on camera. This sequence was filmed near the Sahara Desert in Morocco, at a location called Gara Medouar. The site is a naturally occurring, horseshoe-shaped rocky crater that instantly feels isolated, hostile, and villainous. Director Sam Mendes chose this location because it already looked like the perfect secret headquarters for Spectre, eliminating the need for heavy artificial set construction and allowing the environment itself to sell the danger. Rather than relying purely on CGI, the filmmakers committed to executing a real, full-scale explosion. Legendary Bond special effects supervisor Chris Corbould and his team designed the stunt using over 8,000 liters of fuel, including kerosene and petrol, combined with multiple carefully placed explosive charges. These were arranged in a precise pattern across the set to ensure the blast expanded outward in a controlled but devastating fireball. When the explosion was triggered, it was captured in a single take. The entire desert floor erupted in flames, shockwaves, smoke, and debris, creating an overwhelming visual that no digital effect could truly replicate. The sheer scale of this stunt earned Spectre a Guinness World Record for the largest on-screen explosion in film history, cementing it as a landmark achievement in practical effects. Safety was the highest priority during this sequence. The blast radius was meticulously calculated in advance, and the entire surrounding area was completely cleared. Local residents and nomadic communities were informed well ahead of time. Although Daniel Craig and Léa Seydoux appear to be dangerously close to the explosion on screen, they were actually filmed at a safe distance. Their performances were later blended with the explosion footage through precise compositing, preserving both realism and safety. The Spectre headquarters itself wasn't a fully practical structure. While basic physical elements were built on location to give actors and cameras real reference points, the majority of the domes and architectural structures were added digitally. The real explosion's fire, smoke, and debris were then seamlessly combined with CGI buildings, creating a powerful hybrid of practical stunts and digital visual effects. Spectre stands as a reminder that real locations, real stunts, and real danger create an impact that CGI alone never can. From frozen mountains to burning deserts, every frame was built with intention. And that's why these scenes still feel powerful today. So if you enjoyed our behind the scenes of Spectre video, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because in the next BTS breakdown, we'll uncover even more insane movie moments. Until then, keep watching, and stay curious about the craft behind the camera.